All right, so jumping right into this, I'm going to go ahead and make a template that I can use to trace on the wallpaper so that I know I have the right width and roughly length that I need to cover the whole thing. So I have my computer paper and I folded it in half a couple times. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it with my paper cutter. And then I think, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it on the donut case. And I'm just going to kind of measure with my scissors here, and then I'll just kind of clip so I know where I need to trim. And then I'll use my paper cutter again, and that fits great actually. And I need 2 of those because it's not quite long enough to wrap all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a second one, and then I will tape those together, and that will give me a template long enough to wrap all the way around the donut case. It's a little bit longer than I need, but that's okay. It's okay to have a little extra. And I'm also going to trace it maybe a little bit wider when I copy it onto the wallpaper, so that way I can make sure that I don't have any gaps along any of the edges. The wallpaper I'm using is actually a pattern that I created. I think I actually shared a video of how I made this pattern, but it's 2 rabbits having a little picnic with a donut, and it's kind of a toile de jour inspired pattern. And I actually put it on Spoonflower, which allows you can upload for either fabric or wallpaper. And this one I put up for wallpaper, and then I was able to order a sample, which is like, I think like a 2-foot piece of wallpaper. And they have a whole bunch of different types that you can get. This one that I decided to order is a pre-pasted version. So now that I got that traced, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my strip of wallpaper. And then I can just kind of roughly check to make sure that it's fitting on the donut case like I want it to. So with these, what you'll have to do is lay it out, and then I'm going to use a damp sponge, and I'm going to put water along the whole thing as evenly as I can. And so I'm just going to kind of continue to dab my sponge in the water and then kind of put it on there. I can kind of see that the paste is moving around, which concerns me a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and maybe just do a little bit more and then call it good, because I'm kind of worried that I'm removing some of the paste, but maybe I'm not. This is my first time using pre-pasted wallpaper, so I'm kind of winging it a little bit. And in the directions, it says you have to do this process called booking, where you fold the pasted sides together, and you basically let it sit for a few minutes while the paste fully activates. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that here. I got it laid out. I'm going to let it rest for a couple minutes and kind of clean up my station a little bit. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, it should be ready to go. All right, so it's been about 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and call that good and go ahead and start applying it to the donut case. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the ends of it here, and then I'm just going to start kind of in the middle and stretch it across the front of the donut case. And then I'll just kind of push it in there, trying to push down the edges. I have the top edge lined up to the bottom of the counter, and the bottom edge is where I'm going to trim it. So I'm just going to kind of push it in as much as I can. And it's difficult to get it to wrap around these corners. So I'm going to go ahead and trim each corner with my scissors as I go, just kind of putting a little slit in it so it gives it a little bit more flexibility for going around the edge. And I'm just going to kind of work it around, keep moving it in here. I was going to have the seam on the back side of the case, but this piece I have is pretty long right now. So here, I'm going to trim it up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and work through and kind of trim the edges, the front edge that I know is fitting well. And I'll kind of keep working that around. Getting it all trimmed up. Okay, I'm gonna actually have it end on the side here. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water to this back side, and then I'm gonna wrap it around and push it into place. And then just make sure it looks like I got everything trimmed up pretty well, and that's fitting quite nicely. So now I just need to let this dry fully, and I'll be able to show you guys how it turned out. And this is the final look of the donut case with the wallpaper. I'm actually very pleased with how it turned out. I didn't worry too much about lining up the seams. That wasn't a huge concern of mine. So the pattern does overlap a little bit on the side, and that's okay. I just mostly wanted it to look good on the front side of it, which I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And I'm excited that the case is fully complete and ready to be filled with donuts. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that way you can catch the next video when I start making the donuts to fill up the case. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.